Long time no see. I'm back at it. I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to show you what I have learned working inside a 200K per month high ticket consulting business, right? So if you are a consultant, coach, or an info product owner, I want you to listen closely because I've been working with one of the biggest consulting programs coming up inside our market, right? So I want to dive straight into it. Message me on Instagram if you have any questions. Let's dive into it. So first, I need you guys to focus on top of funnel, bottom of funnel, and middle of funnel, right? Once we cleave these two together, we naturally have the bottom of funnel, and that's where the magic happens. That's where the sale happens, okay? The reason why I have a diagram like this is because we need to combine top of funnel strategies, middle of funnel strategies, cleave them together so it all mixes into our bottom of funnel sales, okay? The main thing in your consulting business is all about marketing and sales. That's the first principles, right? If you're not marketing, you better be on sales. If you're not on sales, you better be marketing. Ideally, you want to be doing both, right? So the cool thing about what I've learned here, growing a 150K, 200K per month consulting business is that simplicity actually scales. Guys, you should not have tons of different offers. We've tested this time and time and again, and we always focus on our one offer, which is the main high ticket offer for every single person. We don't attract every single person. Obviously, that won't make any sense. We sell very high ticket. But we don't budge price for anybody. We don't do any downsells or anything like that. And we're able to soak up the market only selling high ticket paid in fulls, right? If you're not selling high ticket paid in fulls and you're still doing payment plans, well, I'm going to show you probably where you're going wrong. So let's dive straight into it. Top of funnel. The main thing that I've learned is that front-end marketing through visual educational based content plus testing reels and story sequences through paid ads, through Meta, Instagram and Facebook, for immediate conversations. So getting immediate conversations from those paid ads, getting a lot of top of funnel traffic from organic plus the paid ads, and then conversion through story sequences, right? So just to preface this is mainly an IG funnel that that I have been building with inside the consulting business. So you guys, if it's on Facebook, TikTok, whatever, it's the same principles, okay? So I'm talking in the context of an Instagram profile funnel with a YouTube nurture long form as well, right? So conversion through story sequences. I can't tell you how much cash collected we've gotten just from conversion through story sequences, okay? I'm not gonna go too much into depth just because of privacy reasons, obviously, but guys, if you're not doing story sequences for conversions, you're going totally wrong, because that is what I have seen work in 2025 for high ticket consulting businesses. This is the number one marketing strategy. And as you can see here, we need high converting highlights, clear profile picture, exactly what we do, story sequences marketing, and high converting reels, educational based content, and mind maps and visuals to showcase what we're actually talking about at the top of funnel, right? So this is purely top of funnel. And this attracts a lot of people, especially with what I just mentioned, story sequences, paid ads through Instagram and Facebook. It works like a charm in 2025, okay? So I'm gonna change this over here. Now, what most people miss is that top of funnel isn't about going viral. Guys, your main job is to make niche-based content. And just by the association of making niche-based content, whatever you're selling, you will grow. And even if you have one, two, guys, I have clients that have sub 3,000, 2,000 views per reel, and they're able to make 30 to 50K per month with their consulting business. Why? Is because the quality of prospect that they're booking in, and of course their price point, makes it worthwhile. So if you think you need to go viral, that's the totally wrong paradigm, okay? Now, if that happens, if you're creating niche-based content, the more the merrier, right? You just need to tighten up your qualification pieces so you're not booking in everybody under the sun. Okay, so your goal is not to be viral. Your goal is to make niche-based content. So do not panic if your numbers go drastically down. We are only focused on quality. As a consulting business, a high-tech consulting business, we're not focused on volume. We're focused on quality. Once we get quality, then we can attach volume to that as a secondary, okay? Just by the association of having quality. So again, what most people miss is that the top of funnel isn't about going viral. It's about creating the right kind of angle. A lot of people say the right kind of content, the right kind of pain points. No, in our market, it's all about angles and positioning. You need to find your angle, you need to find your positioning, because that is the main piece people will buy from, right? It's about creating the right kind of angles. In high-tech consulting, your top of funnel should be doing three things: attracting the right problems. If you attract the right problems, you'll automatically attract the right kind of prospect, because they see you, that they have a solution, you have a solution that you have, and they need that to solve their specific problem. Okay, so just by the association of attracting the right problems, you will attract the right clients. Okay, pre-framing the way you solve them, right? So what I mean by this is that we are pre-framing our unique mechanism, our identification pieces, our assets, and pre-framing how we're actually going to solve this for them with the top of funnel content that we have here. All right, and then triggering curiosity to enter their world. To enter your world, right? This is all about framing. Once they enter our world, it's over with, because now they are actively adopting our beliefs. Why? Because they're going to watch all that top of funnel content, all the story highlights, all the story sequences, all the reels, all the YouTube videos, and now they're slowly adopting our beliefs and our paradigms, and that's only going to make the sale a little bit easier for you guys, because, well, as we all know, if we share the same beliefs, we're going to get along. It's going to be an easier sell. Okay, so that's why we lead with value-based short form. Think reels that visually explain your frameworks, bust common myths, or showcase transformation stories. We do this all the time for our clients, hundreds of clients. This framework, that's all you really need, right? Visually explain your frameworks, your systems, bust common myths, the old way and the new way, or showcase transformation stories as well, right? If you don't have any case studies, as a consultant, leverage your own case study in building other companies or your existing consulting business, okay? We then amplify those through targeted paid ads to spark DMs, not just likes, right? Our main piece here is to spark direct conversations so you can qualify them in the DMs, send our sales assets, book them in for a call, and close that deal. Right? So this is what turns followers into conversations and conversations into qualified sales calls. If you build this the correct way, your content becomes a filter, right? You will automatically, again, if you attract the right kind of clients, that means they have the right kind of problems you will solve. And so if you're showcasing that and you're explaining that problem in your top of funnel content, it's already a filter. It's already a qualification filter, right? So that's a very important idea you need to internalize. Okay, so this is not just a billboard. Hey, here's my content. Here's an ad. No, this is going heavy into our prospects' pains, and our content becomes the filter. So that is the top of funnel, and that's what I have learned working in a 150, 200K a month consulting business. Next thing, timeline of top of funnel, right? Prioritization of top of funnel. So there's a couple things here. Define prospect specific visual concepts, right? Clarify the exact pain points your ideal prospect or buyer resonates with. Use visual frameworks, call out scripts, relatable examples, why most coaches never hit 20K a month, why most coaches never hit 20K a month using organic content, or why they can never utilize paid ads to grow their business, and why your CAC is, over 3,000. You'll really go into depth, really be specific with prospect-specific visual concepts. Okay, next thing, create high-leverage reels and highlights. Post 3 to 5 times a week across IG, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever your funnel is. Just post 3 to 5 times a week. It's what we found leads to the best results. Okay, and using visual teaching, guys. Visual teaching, visual teaching, visual teaching. If you're not doing visual educational-based content, you will lose as a consultant in 2025. Okay, each piece should educate, agitate, or frame the old versus the new. Unique mechanism is key. Guys, the market sophistication nowadays in the coaching and consulting market is at an all-time high. So naming your unique mechanism as like the, whatever it is, the arbitrage, consulting, or the hybrid funnel, like those things, they sometimes work, but they only work in tandem with identification. When you're operating in a market where the level of sophistication is so damn high, no matter what you say, you cannot get through. The only thing that you can do is identification, identifying with your prospect through personal branding. And that is the differentiation piece, whether you're going to be a consultant making 100K per month and whether you're a consultant making 10 to 15K per month. After you do that, run winning content with $5 to $20 a day paid ads. Boost high-performing reels to target audiences with your core problems. The objective, spark engagement and initial curiosity. So once you start posting your organic content, say a reel pops off that has a lot of views, a lot of engagement, likes, comments, whatever it is, you want to boost that reel so you can get more of that coming because you know it's already resonating organically. Now, there's a caveat to this. When you do that, Meta is going to lessen your reach. So that's why you don't put $20 or $30, $40 straight out the gate, right? Work your way up $5, $10, $15, $20 a day, and then you can keep doing that, right? Drive DM combos through story CTAs. Again, the story sequences are a key piece in the funnel here. Use IG stories to trigger interest, curiosity, and replies and inbound DMs, reply system, reply keyword, whatever it is for you to get the breakdown I use to generate XYZ result, right? To get $1,000 CAC, to get under $1,000 CAC, to get 15 to 20K in client lifetime value, stuff like this. And so if you do all these correctly, you will get results like this, where we have 70 plus DM conversations that are sub $17 cost per lead or cost per messaging conversation with qualified prospects, right? Who doesn't want these numbers? So if you do this right, you will have the same numbers like we do here, okay? On to the next thing, middle of funnel. Guys, very important, right? Middle of funnel is where we shift from curiosity to conviction plus nurturing assets. At this stage, it's not about reach, it's about identification. Again, the identification piece. The goal is to validate the prospect's intent while deepening their belief that your method is the only logical step, okay? Guys, if your prospect can identify with you and they can't say, you know what, the next step or the next system that I need is Isaiahlebron's, right? Or our company, okay? We do this by layering content like testimonial reels, story breakdowns, client wins, right? Look at these YouTube examples. Shout out Cameron England. This is my YouTube, right? These are middle of funnel content assets, and we have specific, and I'll get to that in the bottom of funnel. We have specific content assets based on any given person's state, where they're at in their business or pain point. And this is a very powerful tool that nobody's really using in the consulting market here in 2025, right? So this is also where close friends list. So, on Instagram, you can utilize the close friends list for everybody to maintain exclusivity and to feel like people actually know you, developing that parasocial relationship. Super key. This is also where, they build exclusivity while qualifying your warm leads. The middle funnel is all about tightening the gap between interest and investment. Okay, using social proof and clarity to do the heavy lifting before a single sales call is booked. I do not want you guys getting on sales calls and you have to persuade or you have to convince. That should be done prior to the call. That should be done in these specific content assets. That should be done in the middle of funnel story sequences. Every sales calls you book as a consultant should be warm as fuck. Okay, if they are not, you need to fix your middle of funnel flows for the better and actually tie down identification pieces, identification assets, create visuals and overall content structures to actually showcase that. Okay, moving on. Prioritization of middle of funnel. Publish client results that show tangible outcomes, right? If you need to create a separate YouTube page for this or a separate Instagram page for this, do that just to have that centered on there, okay? Turn interest into trust with specific proof. Example, here's how Sarah signed 5 clients in 21 days after fixing her unique mechanism, after fixing her positioning, after fixing her paid ad campaign so she can maintain $500 cost per acquisition. Go very in-depth. Identification. Remember that word. Break down your method with a visual framework. Teach your unique mechanisms, your process. Again, this is going to go on YouTube videos, Instagram, TikTok, whatever your funnel is for you. Long form, right? Long form, middle of funnel. 3 steps to consistent 20K months with a hybrid funnel blueprint. Okay, this only works as a unique mechanism name when you have a popping personal brand or at least a niche-based personal brand. Okay, now share values plus POV content. This is very powerful. Let them buy into your world. Let them buy into your beliefs, your processes, your why behind your approach. Why am I actually teaching you this system? Why is it the correct way? Why is it the new way? Share your POV. Again, developing that parasocial relationship. Example, here's why we tell clients to stop doing daily content. Here's why we tell clients to stop using static images for their paid ads. Here's why we boost Reels first, and then we create ads in the ads manager to then test follower ads, right? Stuff like this. Middle of funnel, get that down right, you're gonna close more deals. Next thing, bottom of funnel, one of my favorites, okay? So bottom of funnel for us doesn't start on the sales call. It starts the second they book or show serious intent. This is where we will flip the script. This is where we flip into precision mode, sending pre-call videos to prime their mindset. Guys, you should have a bank of specific YouTube videos, specific content assets that solve any pain point. There's only 3 to 5 pain points in any given market. So, at least core pain points. And they're sub pain points, sub problems. I have a video on this on my YouTube channel. Go ahead and watch that. You need a content bank. So no matter what your prospect is facing in terms of a problem, you have a YouTube video already solving that. So every time you send a content asset and you extract a pain point from them in the DMs and you send them a content asset, exactly what they were talking about, like, yeah, this is my problem. I'm not really booking calls. All right, I'm relying on inbound leads. Paid ads is not really working for me. And you have a YouTube video literally solving that, it's going to resonate with them. And it's going to feel like you actually made that for them, but it's a general content asset, right? So asking targeted questions in the DM to deeply qualify and dropping hyper-relevant content assets based on what they reveal. We've built a library of short videos and posts that solve specific objections, right? So this is what I've learned working in this consulting business. We have a library of short videos and posts and assets and documents that solve specific objections and specific problems, and we send only what is needed. This is not only builds trust, but makes the sale conversation feel like continuation and the next logical step. I hope you guys have light bulb moments here, because this is what you need as consultants. This not only builds trust, but makes the sale conversation feel like a continuation, not a pitch. Bottom of funnel is where personalization wins. You should be personalizing your conversations, your assets, Loom videos, pre-call videos, stuff like this. Not for every single prospect, but generality based on specific pain points and situations you have gathered between a lot of clients, a lot of conversations. Okay, if you're just confirming bookings without stacking context and belief beforehand, you're going to lose a sale, and you're probably going to need to persuade and convince. Okay, we have clients that book calls, and if the person is on the call, they haven't watched at least 2 to 3 content assets, we end the call and we tell them to do that first and then book a call with us. That's how serious we are about qualification, because we only want paid in fulls, okay? Bottom of funnel is not just about prepping someone for a sales call. It's about controlling the buying frame before the call happens. At this stage, we stop nurturing and start positioning and start framing. Every message, asset, question is designed to shift the lead from I'm interested to I'd be crazy not to solve this now. I'd be crazy not to work with Isaiah. I'd be crazy not to work with GA. So the key isn't pressure, it's precision. In the DMs, we use targeted questions like a diagnostic, like a doctor, to expose the real gap between where they are and where they want to be. Then we handpick content assets that directly address their mindset objections or limiting patterns. Okay, the real leverage comes from creating asymmetry. We don't pitch, guys. We qualify. When they realize they're consuming content built exactly for them, the power dynamic flips, the frame flips. And that's why it's a lay down sale every single sales call. Okay, they're not being sold. They're being evaluated by the time they show up to the call. They're already sold on the solution. The conversation becomes alignment, not persuasion. If you guys are getting on calls and you're persuading, you are not patching up your MOF and BOF. Keep this in mind, right? Now, I have the same picture from MOF to bottom of funnel because, again, specific YouTube content assets in this case is sent to prospects based on the conversation and qualification and problems that we see, limiting patterns that we see in the DMs. Once we have that, we have our setter send over the specific content asset, right? And once you're able to do this, you're going to have months where you make $190,000, $77,000 with a 45% sales conversion rate, right? So guys, really hone this in, because this is the most important part, because we all love sales. All right, next thing, timeline, prioritization of bottom of funnel, booking triggers a pre-call positioning asset, send a short video that frames the program, frames the consulting, sets expectation, and builds belief. Guys, we have like a 40-minute pre-call video, and they all watch it, okay? This makes the lead feel like they've already entered your process, not just scheduled a call. Okay, we want them to feel like they're about to get onboarded or they're in the middle of getting onboarded. The client experience is the main thing here. I'll make a separate YouTube video on that. DM-based diagnostic questions for position qualification. Ask specific questions that reveal urgency, budget, decision-making power, and a core pain. Think like a doctor, right? You probably heard this before, but it really is true. Not everyone gets the same treatment, okay? Personalized content assets sent based on the responses. Again, I was harping on this for a while. Drop the exact content that handles their objections or false beliefs. Last thing here, guys, is reframe the call as a fit evaluation, not a sales pitch. Sometimes you can just say, hey, this is a sales call. I am here to sell you. That also works as well. But just generally speaking, use DM language that makes it clear you are selective. Example, from what you shared, it might be a fit. We'll know more once we dive deeper on the call. Guys, if you do all this, you will be golden. You will reach 100, 200K months in your consulting business. And yeah, if you have any questions, just comment down below and I'll solve your bottleneck personally for free for you. See you on the other side.